Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
You have failed this city.
Wow. I know, right?
Maybe.
Tonight.
What gives you the right? What's the difference between you and me?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Thursday's The Watchtower, where we talk all things DC. Man, was it a week. It was quite a week when it comes to DC. I hope you got your Superman tickets. I know I did. And I know my guest with me today, Derpy Entertainment. I know he got his tickets. What's going on, Derpy?
I did. Yes, sir, I did. Let's go. We got those tickets.
Let's go. We do have some things to talk about, but the main thing I want to cover, obviously, when there's a new trailer, we're going to look at the trailer. We're going to react, dissect, and go over this trailer with a fine tooth and comb. But before we do that, I want to talk just quickly about the Spaceballs 2. I'm kidding. Although I am excited about the Spaceballs 2.
Yes, Spaceballs 2, yes.
I am excited about that. But no, honestly, we did get a little bit of information today. I just want to quickly throw out there because I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. Creature Commandos Season 2 is in production. It has been announced. That's exciting. And not only that, but there is now in development a Mr. Miracle adult animated show. I know a lot of people are a little like, maybe some people are like, what is Mr. Miracle? Who's Mr. Miracle? Just a very quick, I'm not going to dive into it much because I'm going to be completely honest with you. Mr. Miracle is not a character that I really know much about. I know one version of him is a new god, and I've never been overly excited about the new gods. Like I like Darkseid, like that whole aspect of the gods and things like that. But when it comes to the new gods, I've never been overly excited about him, but he is one iteration of him is a new god, and I believe that's the aspect of him that they're going to go with in this show. But those are the exciting 2 bits of exciting news that we got today. We're going to cover a little bit more after we go through the trailer. What's that?
You forgot to mention the Wonder Woman movie.
Oh, I think I have that in my notes after this. But yes, Wonder Woman movie. That came up the other day, that a Wonder Woman movie is in development as well. It's being written. We don't know by who, and we don't know if there's any actress even being looked at yet. There's been a lot of discussions online of who could be the actress to play the Princess of Themyscira. But yeah, nobody really knows any more than that because that's all James Gunn said. And obviously there was all the bit about James Gunn saying that he's kind of sort of writing a sequel, but not really a sequel to Superman. It's not exactly a sequel to Superman, but it is a follow-up to Superman that's not really a sequel to Superman, or however he said it. And now everybody's believing it's world's finest. So those are the bits of news that are important that we can talk about real quick before we get into the trailer. What do you have? Thoughts? Do you have thoughts, Derpy, on any of this?
You know, as of right now, I don't actually. I'm just glad it's being, out there at the moment. The fact that we're getting a new Wonder Woman in like 8 years, right? Is it?
Yeah.
It's been 2017, right? That's fantastic.
Wonder Woman. We haven't Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
Well, Wonder Woman 84 came out in 2021.
Yes, that's right. Wait. Yes, you're right. And Mr. Miracle, I don't know much about Mr. Miracle, but if they're gonna go with the New Gods version, that would be interesting because, Dark Side and all the new gods, Orion, and that would be cool. Especially if it's adult. Um, that that'd be fantastic. And then what's the last one?
What was the last thing? The World's Finest, the
World's
sequel to
Finest.
Superman, possibly being World's Finest.
Yeah, I don't. I'm hoping he does it right because I don't want them to compare it to you know what.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm all ears and eyes and ready for the DCU, man.
I get it. Yeah, I am too. And there's no better way to start it than with the Big Blue Boy Scouts,
Yes.
Superman. Now, like I said, I hope you all got your tickets. We had a new trailer drop just yesterday. And boy, was it a trailer. Now, before we get into it, Derpy, I want to know what were your thoughts on this trailer? Because for me, this was the best trailer that they've
Yes, it was.
best anything that they've dropped for this movie. I couldn't believe it. I was anxiously waiting because like the tickets went on sale like 20 minutes before noon Eastern time yesterday, and I grabbed them up real quick. And I got the tickets, and I saw some people on Twitter. They were like, "Oh, no trailer, no TV spot, nothing." Oh man, and I was like, "Guys, just be patient. The tickets went
Yep.
early. Like, be patient. Something will come." And then I saw James Gunn post, and I looked at the time of the video that he posted. It said 2 minutes and like 8 seconds or something like that. I was like, "Holy crap! It's a trailer!" Like he posted a full trailer, and I started watching it. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, there's some scenes that we've seen before, which is great. Yeah, I'm fine with that. You're going to see that. But then these newer scenes and hearing Lex Luthor talk and
Yes.
the way he's talking, and you just feel like the sadistic nature of Lex in this film. And I was just
Feel the ruthlessness of him.
the ruthlessness, yes. And I just couldn't believe it. And then there were times when I'm like, I started slapping my desk because I'm like, this is great. I'm laughing. I'm like, there's moments where I'm like, holy crap, did I just see that? Did I just witness? Like, there's so many moments in this trailer that I'm just like, I cannot wait to see this on the big screen. This is going to be amazing.
You know what the best part of this trailer is?
What's that?
It doesn't give away much. Again.
No, it really doesn't. It doesn't give away much. It doesn't. It doesn't. And you're right. That is a really good part about it. I see over here, Movie Talk Now says that second trailer will be looked back at as one of the reasons why Superman becomes a financial hit. #1 movie of the summer. It will beat Fantastic Four.
I agree.
Every time somebody does FF4, I always think Final Fantasy 4.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But what do you think? Like, what were your thoughts when you started watching it? Like your initial thoughts, not your like watching it 15 times thoughts. Like the first time you were watching it, what were your thoughts?
First thought, Lex Luthor. That's all I gotta say. Lex Luthor is. That was the only thing that I was like zoned in when I saw this trailer. He was ruthless. He was mean. He was the writing was perfect for him.
Yeah.
And that's all you need. That's all you need to do for this movie is the writing.
Yeah, we've talked about that quite a bit. And Lex, there's things that he says in this trailer where I can't believe that James Gunn went there. You know, like there's that moment where he goes, where he's talking about, we finally meet, and I think he says something like, "I'm gonna finish you off or kill you" or something like that, and that reporter you always talk to, and how about your parents? Like who raised you, like that, and it's like
kill them too.
Yeah, it's like holy crap.
I think my favorite line was at the end of the trailers, and they chose him. Let them die.
Yes, yeah, that's just crazy. But let's get into the trailer here. I mean, it starts off. We've seen this scene from different angles, different
Yes.
moments where these buildings are collapsing and people are running. Now, this is we've seen this, but now we see as it's collapsing, we see Superman, grab it and catch it.
It reminds me of the Flesher moment of the first episode of the Flesher, Max Flesher cartoon. When he catches the building.
So we have the voiceover of Lex talking. He goes, "The most powerful being on planet Earth." We see Lex Luthor now getting out of his plane, going to the Fortress of Solitude. He says, "We finally meet." Now, again, there's a lot of Lex in this trailer, which I said I really like.
Really liked it.
He says, "Now as planned," and we see the engineer killing the robot, or not killing, but destroying the robots. They're not alive, so it wouldn't be killing. Destroying the robots. That's a great shot here too. I'm gonna just play it because it's a really cool shot. Let's go back a little bit. That's there, like how the blade just kind of goes right past his face. I love that shot. It's a great shot.
He doesn't flinch. That's the crazy part. He doesn't flinch.
He says, "I'll destroy you." Now we're seeing this nature, this disdain for Superman. We haven't seen that. Now we'll go back. We'll take a look at. Let's go back to 1978. Superman.
Right.
Superman the movie. Lex Luthor didn't like Superman, but it wasn't like he wanted to destroy him and kill him. Like, let's face it, he just wanted to be a real estate mogul, essentially. You do this thing with Kevin Spacey in Superman Returns. His iteration was, "I just want land. I want to be rich. I want to be rich beyond my imagination." And Superman just gets in the way, and I don't like you because of that. You take a look at Jesse Eisenberg. He just wanted to
talk about Jesse Eisenberg.
He just he had a daddy complex, a daddy issues with a God complex that he felt that God didn't protect him from his father, so he's blaming Superman for it. Like, like there's these things that, like, okay, like they're interesting issues, but this Lex truly just hates Superman to his core. And what I love about this trailer is you come out of it and you're like, why does he hate him so much? Because we don't know at this point. Like, for this movie, we have no idea why he hates him so much. And that is one reason why I like this trailer so much, because you come out of it and you're like, why? Why does he hate him so much? Like, what did he do? Like, did he kill his dog? Like, what did he do?
Right.
So then we see Superman get pushed into the ground again, which we've seen, another shot of the Daily Planet.
And of
but
course,
Lex talks about, that reporter that you always do interviews with. And then he says, "Who raised you as a child?" And we see shots of his mother and father with him. He says, I'll kill them too. Now, this here, we see this weird little creature in the background.
I like how he calmly says, "I'll kill them too."
Oh yeah.
He's like very calm when he says it.
Yeah. Again, he's got this, like I said, weird sadistic nature to him. And to me, that's what makes it even more menacing. Like that's what's crazy. But the weird creature in the background here, apparently, rumor has it that he's created this creature himself from a petri dish. So we'll see how that goes. That's interesting. But this must be right after, or right around the time he captures Superman, and he's put in that glass box because of just the surroundings. That's my guess from this.
I don't know if you heard rumors about what it was. James Gunn's original plan for this film was about the week thing.
Oh yeah. We can talk about that in a moment.
Okay.
At that point in time, we still see some more shots of Lex, and we see Superman beaten after all this. So it's kind of like we get this beginning portion of Lex saying, "I'm going to destroy you," and that's that. Like, you will be destroyed. So we get nearly a minute of Lex talking about, "I'm going to destroy you." Actually, it's about a minute. Yeah, about 54 seconds of that. And then the music swells. It completely swells. And now, speaking of the music, this isn't the music that we've been used to with the past trailers and everything like that. This music is different. It has hints of John Williams within it, But this is something brand new, something completely different, and I love it. I absolutely love the music in this. Absolutely love it. So we keep going here. And as the music swells, this is where we see Superman get healed. And this trailer itself, this is something that I haven't seen anybody else talk about. This trailer tells a story because the first part of it is Lex. It's Lex saying, I'm going to destroy you. And we see Superman beaten and destroyed. Now we see Superman being healed. And then we see Superman in a fight. We see him taking on the Kaiju monster. And again, I love sitting here looking at the background, the screen behind you.
Look, there's Big Belly Burger.
Big Belly Burger down there.
I didn't even notice that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice little nods to the grander DC universe there, different things like that. But you see this, and I love this. Like, look at the size of Superman right there. I don't know if you can see
And the size of the Kaiju.
He's so small compared to that Kaiju. That Kaiju is ginormous. He's huge.
Yeah.
And then we get a great shot, and maybe I'm going to pull it back here because I want to play this shot of him flying. Like,
that's so great.
But he then talks about it's then Superman saying, no matter what you do to me, Luthor, your plans won't work. So now we're on the opposite side. So first it was all Luthor. Now we're on Superman's side. And he's like, look, you can do whatever you can do. You can try and do. You can do whatever you want, but it's not going to work. So now we're getting the opposite side of the story. And we're seeing Superman portray being Superman. Like he is super here. And Lex Luthor, you can see he's like, okay, we'll wrap it up. Let's get this done. And then we get a great line, you know, we see Superman go and different scenes. You're editing. It's like they edited this trailer to be its own story. So he stuck with that, which I really love. Like, I thought this line delivery was great. I like the look of it. Everything about this specific scene here, I loved. So then he flies away, and then we get this great moment. And this is a moment that has a little divisiveness behind it. It is a little divisive. This is the moment where Superman and Krypto fly up with one of the soldiers of Lex Luthor. And Krypto grabs his helmet with his mouth here, rips it off,
and Superman punches him.
Throws it, and Superman punches him, knocking his teeth out. And the teeth come boop, boop, and cling off the camera lens. Now, how and why are the teeth clanging off the camera lens? That's what some people are questioning.
It's a comic book film.
Now, I want to put out a potential spoiler, minor, very, very, very minor spoiler.
Oh, don't do it, Slav.
But I heard that the reason that this little moment here happens is something to do with Jimmy Olsen.
Oh.
Jimmy Olsen, being a photographer, is not your typical photographer that he's been all the time in the comics, where he just carries around a camera and just snip, snip, snap, snap, whatever it is. Click, click, whatever. He is more of a modern day photographer. And what are there in modern day technology that people use for photography now? Drones. Take that and just think about this scene here. Take that as you will. So this isn't necessarily a scene where it's the audience that is there. Take this as we're seeing it from the perspective of Jimmy Olsen.
Ooh, I like that.
So that is just something I've heard. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But again, when you start to understand these people who are sitting here complaining about this scene, if it's out of context, I can understand maybe you being a little upset about it. But in context, if that is the case, if that's true, I'm just saying if it's true, it sounds a lot more interesting and cool. I like that. Especially because there was a TV spot that came up today that had Clark and Jimmy going back and forth talking about the fight that he had with the hammer. And Jimmy's like, Superman got his butt kicked. And Clark's like, I don't know. So you can kind of see where Jimmy would be like trying to find instances to prove to Clark, like, he's not, he doesn't always win these fights. You could probably see a moment like this where he would have his drones, if he does use drones like that. Again, that's what I heard. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Like I said, it's a potential spoiler. It could be, but it's interesting if true. That's all I want to say. So then we go July 11th. Whoops.
Now this is interesting. What is happening there?
So this here we see the Earth cracking and just turning into two. I don't know. I honestly, I've been wondering that
A
myself.
device or something?
Is it a device that's causing the like an interdimensional, multidimensional device that's causing a rift and breaking the everything into two? I don't know. I don't know. What is Lex getting himself into? What is he doing here? That's the question, because I don't know. Like, I haven't heard a really good theory about it. So I really don't know.
Maybe those portal things. I forget what they're called. I forget what it's called. Big Blue. There we go.
Yeah. Oh. And then we see him go face to face with Guy Gardner. And obviously, the relationship between the Justice Gang and Superman is going to be a little tense at times, I believe, because they want to handle things one way. He's going to want to handle things another way. And we've kind of known that for quite some time. But Guy Gardner is quite different than even Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific. He's going to be more of a hothead, I think. So I think you're going to see things like this, and they're going to come face to face, and you're going to see this happen where he goes, make a move, Big Blue. And I like it. I just a little bit of tension there between the two. I like, especially because at some point Superman's going to come into contact with the other Green Lanterns or another Green, like John Stewart, and be like, man, you're a lot cooler than that other guy. And then we get back to the shot at the baseball field where it's Superman against the Engineer and Ultraman. And then he does his little body slam here. See the Daily Planet. We've seen that. And then we see Mr. Terrific in his little chair thingy. And then this shot is another interesting shot.
There's a spoiler right there, too.
So we can see Crypto right on the left side here. All the way on the right side, we see Metamorpho. And in Superman's hand, we see Baby Joe. Baby Joey.
No idea why he's in here.
Which is Metamorpho's son.
Oh.
Right in the center. Now, that may be a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler. Like, if you read comics, that's in the comics. So, like, sorry if I spoiled that for you, Derp, or anybody watching. Excuse me.
Okay. It's okay.
Because
I didn't know about it.
It's in the comics. But that's who that is. But this dimensional looking thing is interesting. So, yeah. That's what's
Is
interesting.
this like the device, maybe?
Maybe? I don't know. Like, it's just more intriguing to me because it's like it's giving us things that we have questions about. Hope for Life says something really good here. Excuse me.
That's true.
He says, pretty sure Baby Joey was captured by Lex, and he's using Baby Joey to force Metamorpho to work with him.
That's a good point.
All right. Next up, we get... Oh, where'd it go? There it is.
Look how cool that is.
We get Lois Lane driving Mr. Terrific's... what is it? What is it called? Whatever. Mr. Terrific ship. Yeah, Perry White with his cigar in his mouth. I love it.
There's been so many memes of him. I don't know if you've seen it. There was one where it's of that picture of Perry White, just me locked in, ready for Watch Superman is what the meme was.
But here's the thing. You see Cat Grant back there behind Perry.
Yeah.
See Jimmy Olsen. Now, look closely at Jimmy Olsen here. He has a computer.
Mm.
What do you think he's doing on his computer? What do you think he's controlling with his computer?
I don't know.
And is that Mr. Terrific back there? Why isn't he flying?
He might be hurt.
Maybe he's hurt. I don't know. I can't tell. Like, because it looks like there's something on
Unless
his
that's
face.
Otis. Unless that's Otis.
No, he seems really skinny. The guy who plays Otis is a little chubby. Like, he's skinny, and it looks like there's something on his face, like right across his eyes. So it's really hard. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so Lois flying the ship.
Unless it's Steve.
And then we see Superman fighting what? No, wait. Too fast.
That's sweet. Him picking up that and then just smacking him.
Where'd it go?
That's sweet.
Yeah, I don't know why I won't stop there.
Superman.
See this? Everybody chanting Superman.
Superman. They chose him. Let him die.
Let them die. Let them die. Now, here's the interesting thing. This is a really, really sadistic line. Really sadistic line. And I personally think that this is a misdirect. I don't think he's saying they as all the people. I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying they as maybe his soldiers, or they as the Justice Gang, or something like that. I don't think he's saying they as all the people. Regardless, though, him just saying they chose him, let them die, that is still pretty crazy.
That's a perfect Lex line.
But yeah. Let's see, what else do we got? And then we get this shot, which we now see more of what it actually is. It's the Kaiju's foot stomping down as Superman saves the little girl. Such a great shot. I could watch this shot over and over again. It is such a great shot.
Hey, look, he's saving somebody.
All right. This moment, this is the second divisive moment in the trailer, which I don't know why. Because I love this scene. This is the scene where I said I slapped the desk because I laughed. I laughed out loud at this scene because I thought it was great. I laughed so hard. I still laugh at this scene.
I'm doing important stuff.
Mr. Terrific yells down to Superman as he's laying there. Obviously, just had a big fight that he was in, laying there, and Mr. Terrific goes, "Hey, quit messing around." And Superman goes, "I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff." Like, I'm sorry. You're allowed to have a little levity in a superhero movie. You're allowed to have levity in it. And
personality. Oh no.
Exactly. He has personality. Oh no. And here's the thing. What moment, what part of the scene is this? Is he in the middle of fighting the big bad?
Thing? Look at that tube thing in the background.
Yeah. Like, is he in the middle of fighting the big bad, or did he just take out a big bad, or did he take out a bunch of enemies and there's no danger at that moment in time right there? Like, it's okay to have a moment of levity. Like, let him breathe a second, let everybody else breathe. Like, that's kind of what you do in movies. There's moments in movies you got to breathe. You can't be, just holding your breath at the edge of your seat for 40 minutes. Like, sometimes you have to breathe, get a little laugh, and then you get back into it. And that's what this scene is going to do. And every time I've watched it, I still giggle or laugh at this scene because I think it's great. And I think his delivery of I'm not messing around, I'm doing important stuff, I think it's great. I think it's perfect. Every time I hear him speak, it's like, this is the voice I'm going to hear now when I read a Superman comic, because this is Superman to me now. Like I said, I love Henry Cavill. I love Man of Steel. Man of Steel is my favorite Superman movie to this day, and it still could be even after seeing this movie. But David Cornsweet, in these trailers, everything I've seen, he has proven to me that he is a damn good Superman.
And he's gonna knock it out of the park, probably.
And then
that is a great shot right there.
The big money shot, and I love how it starts off with the Superman logo, the crest, and then it zooms out, and then we get this. And I'm just going to play it because it's awesome.
That is so awesome, dude.
What I love is that Crypto is in this scene.
Oh, is he? I didn't even notice he was in there. I thought
Yeah,
it was just him.
Crypto's in here. Right here.
Oh, there he is. Yep.
He's just zipping around helping Superman in this scene.
He's just dragging him by the foot.
He's just having a good time, So then we get this shot. Hey, buddy, eyes up here. He flies up, IMAX, and then we see him flying around. That whole thing.
That is a great shot, too.
But that is the trailer. I mean, that's it. Like, I think, like I said, the best trailer that we've had, the best look at this movie from top to bottom. Top to bottom, the best look at this movie. I think this movie sells tickets to the general audience better than anything else. There's nothing in this teaser or in this trailer that I think is a problem. I think if people watch this trailer, they just get excited. I sent it to a few of my buddies, a few of my friends, my family. Every response was, "Whoa, wow, that looks great." Some of them are fans of comic book movies. Some of them are just fan of movies. Some of them don't care about movies that much, but will watch them, if I send them something to watch. Some of them are just general audience members. But not a single person came back to me and said, that looks terrible. Not a single person said, that doesn't look great. Nothing like that. Everybody, their response was, wow, whoa, that looks good. Something like that. That is what you should expect. That is exactly what you should expect. And I don't know, what was it that you experienced talking to people about this trailer?
What was that question?
What was the experience you've had talking to people about the trailer?
I didn't send it to everybody. I honestly, I didn't send it to anybody.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, wait. I shared it with my father. I shared it with my mother. They enjoyed it very much. They thought it was pretty cool and it looks great. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much all you can do. Just send it to people and make sure they know about it. Movie Talks Now says the trailer was fun. How can you see the trailer and think this looks like it's going to be boring? Exactly. Soul Survivor Studio says, I love that it seems that this Superman is pushed to his limit. A la the funny scene you were talking about. Yes.
I can see why, Chris, but like...
Movie Talk Now says, Derpy, why does your icon have fangs? Are you a vampire?
Maybe. You never know.
Hosea says, hello there. General Kenobi. Soul Survivor says, first badass thing is near the end of the trailer. Yes. Movie View, not going to lie, I wasn't liking it, but I'll wait to see more context. Real Anarchy says, that's pure Lex. 100%.
There he is.
100% pure Lex.
Yes, 100% pure Lex.
Trayvon says, imagine hearing Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor saying those lines. You can't. You can't.
Remember, he was the Riddler instead of Lex.
Movie Talk Now says, Cat Grant has an interesting superpower. She causes unintentional salutes for all men in the room. Man, I assure you, we're giving you a standing ovation.
I don't know if you knew this, Michaela Hoover, who's playing Cat Grant, is actually voicing Chopper in the One Piece live action.
I heard about that. Yeah,
it actually looks pretty good. So good for her.
Trayvon says, Lois Lane, daughter of Army General. She also flew a plane in the Fleischer cartoons, by the way. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Trayvon. That actually, I'm going backwards in the chat. There were some people literally complaining that she was flying Mr. Terrific's ship. Like, oh, girl boss, just flying the ship. No, there is some context behind that she may actually know how to fly planes because of her father. And yeah, but what do people know? Yeah, they don't actually know comics or care to.
Yep, they don't read them.
Yeah, they just post pictures of collections from the internet and say it's their collections. That's all they do. Not pointing anybody out specifically that has been posting collections of comics on the internet, for the last few weeks, saying it's theirs at all. But Let's see what else.
Aaron. No, I'm just kidding. Come on, you gotta say it. You know who it is.
Movie Talk Now says not a single person I spoke with in real life compared it to The Flash like X does. Everyone is genuinely excited that I spoke to. Yeah, there are people trying to compare it to The Flash, which I think is ridiculous. There's no reason to compare it to The Flash. I think it's funny people are trying to say, oh, look, there's a desert scene in this movie and there's a desert scene in The Flash. It's just the same. What? There's a desert scene in Star Wars. There's a desert scene in
These
Dune.
are completely different characters, and
Like, what are they all the same? And then they're like, oh, how dare you compare these to Dune and Mad Max? Like, no, the person above is the one that's is trying to say it's all the same because they're saying there's a desert scene. Like, no, it's the same cinematography. That's not what they were saying. Like, it's the stupidity of these people sometimes. It just baffles me. And then they try to show the punching clip and they're like, oh, look at the punch that he makes. It's just like the slap that Supergirl does in The Flash. Because we've never seen a slow motion punch in a movie before The Flash.
well,
We've never seen anything like that ever before. Oh, well, then once you call them out on that, then they have to take it a step further. Well, Superman would never punch anybody. He would never punch anybody? Really? Really? He would never punch anybody? Never in the comics has he ever punched anybody and punched their teeth out, ever. Never. I mean, never in a comic? Never? Thanks, Real Anarchy, for sharing that. But again, it's crazy to me what these people try and do. It is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Oh man. Movie View says, yeah, people kept saying Lois is a girl boss. It's silly. Movie Talk Now says, oh fuck, while we were on this stream, Israel just bombed Iran. Oh jeez.
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention. But I didn't want to, bring it up. It was about like 20 minutes ago, dude.
Man. Trayvon says, tell me you don't know Superman lore without saying you don't know Superman lore. Well, go listen to the Snyder Bros. Then that there. Movie Talk Now. Superman only knocks out people politely, Slav. Duh. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. He walks up to him and says, hey, can you just like get knocked out for me? Like just close your eyes and lay down. There you go. Thank you. That's what he does. All right. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments about the trailer. Did you love it? Do you love it? What are your thoughts? Do you think this is going to help boost the ticket sales? Do you have your tickets? When are you seeing it? Let me know when you're seeing it in the comments, because I'd love to know when you're going to see the movie. Are you seeing it on the 8th with the early access premiere from Amazon? Are you seeing it on the 10th, the 11th, the 12th? When are you seeing the movie? I want to hear it. Are your theaters sold out? Tell me all you want to tell me and about your excitement for this movie, because I want to know about all of that. But before now we get into the next thing I want to talk about, here is a quick word from a sponsor. Yeah, guys, check it out. What's going on, guys? I got another really cool thing to show you here. I was given a chance to take a look at a couple of accessories for the new Switch 2 from a company called Coops. The first is a really cool backpack here. It's kind of like a back shoulder pack here where you can actually put in your Switch 2 accessories, controller, a whole bunch of different things right in the backpack here. This is a really cool accessory here. If you're one of the lucky few that have gotten the Switch 2 right now, you can pick this up at Coops. Description down below, link down below. You can use my code SlavsFreeTalk to get some additional money off of this if you decide to go with it. But this isn't just for the Switch 2. You can put a Steam Deck in here. You can put any really handheld device in here. It's really great. You can even fit like an 11-inch iPad in here, as well as a whole plethora of other devices. This is a really cool pack that I encourage you all to go check out. It's got a nice hard shell. It's water resistant. Excellent case. Sticking with the Switch 2, I got another nice little case here. This one here is more in line for the Switch 2 directly. This here is just a normal case which will hold just your Switch 2, as well as about 8 cartridges, 8 games right in here. Now, I think this is an excellent case that just to protect your Switch 2 while you're at home. You know, if it's something that you want to put next to your bed, or if you want to just take it over your friend's house real quick with you, this is a great case to use. Just throw it in there, some of your cartridges, and run over to your friend's house, or put it in the car with you if you're just making a quick little trip. You don't need your whole big bag with you. This is a great case to get. Again, you can get a great deal using Slavs FT to get a percentage off of the deal. The description's down below if you want to pick yourself up one now. I want to thank Coops for giving me the opportunity to check these out and to tell everybody about these great accessories for the Switch 2. So everyone, pick yours up today. All right, cool. Thanks, Coops, for the opportunity.
What a great ad.
Oh, thanks. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, speaking of the movie, is the post-credits. Let's see if I can make this any bigger here.
Brainiac. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. We can only hope.
We can only hope. Let's zoom this a little bit. There we go.
We gotta see something DCU instead of I don't know. They can't pull up a villain, right?
Well, James Gunn says Superman will have a post-credit scene. He says, I have a philosophy about post-credit scenes. It's somewhat related to my own mistakes in my time with Marvel. Basically, he says he's not going to have too many future-facing post-credits because they might not come to fruition. He remembers how Thor was added to the Guardians at the end of Endgame, and he didn't want that for his third installment due to not knowing how to handle the character. He also says how he hated doing a Warlock post-credit for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and that he was lucky he was able to utilize that. So what it's really coming down to is, yes, we're going to have a post-credit for Superman, which is great. That's exciting. But I don't think it's necessarily going to be something of like, hey, this is 100% going to connect or set up to the next movie or set up to Superman 2 or whatever it is. It's probably going to be more in line with like, hey, this might expand on something that happened earlier in the movie, maybe expand on something larger in the DC universe, not so much that's going to connect and have to be related to what is happening in the next film directly. That's kind of the way I looked at it. I don't know. How do you see what he says there?
What was the question? Sorry.
How do you see what he like? How do you look at it from what he says there about how he's not looking at taking things directly because of how he didn't want to use Thor for Guardians and how that was kind of set up, and how he didn't like how Adam Warlock was put into the post or the end credits for the second Guardians, but luckily he was able to use them. Like, he doesn't like that aspect. So how do you think he's going to use the end credits in Superman or the post credits in Superman?
Your guess is best as mine, my friend.
Yeah,
I really don't know. I mean, it's obviously you don't want to compare it to the MCU, but like, I have no idea what he'll do. I'm just here for the ride, and I'm excited for it.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, personally, I think, like I said, I think it's going to be something along the lines. It's going to be a more broad stroke. It's not going to be something that is directly connected to the next installment. Yeah,
Right.
I don't even think it's going to be something that's connected to the next film. So it's not going to be connected to
probably gonna be something funny.
Supergirl or not connected to Lanterns or Peacemaker or anything like that. I think it's just going to be something that's a broad stroke that's just like, hey, this is in the DCU. Like, this is it. This is in the DCU. We'll explore it when we get to it. Or it's going to be, like I said, something that just harkens back to what happened in the movie earlier. I think those are the only two options then that you have. I just hope, my hope is that it's not something stupid like what they did in Ant-Man, where you had a stupid ant playing the drum set at the end of Ant-Man 2 or whatever it was, because that was just stupid. Like, those kind of post-credit scenes make me angry, because it's like, why did I sit here for all this just to see something dumb like that?
All right.
I don't know, but let me know your thoughts. Everybody in the comments, let me know what you guys think, because I think it's interesting. I'm glad that he is going to use post credits or mid credits in some
Yes.
way. I just hope that he uses them well and not terribly, like I said, like they did with Ant-Man with the ant playing drums. That's all. Let's see.
Look at that shot right there. You see, Slav? Look at that shot right there. How is that not Superman?
It is Superman. It's great. Jay Burton says, I was told can't wait to what flops. This is what I get for trashing Man of Steel and Snyder. Didn't mention them in the short at all. Could tell they never watched anything from us they'd know. Must have been having another conversation. I don't know. That's Insinuator talking about. All right. Excuse me. Deadline.
Let's go.
Superman Early Access Amazon Prime screenings become Fandango's best first day ticket pre-seller year to date. That means it's sold more than Fantastic Four, Mission Impossible, Jurassic World, any of those movies that had early access Amazon Prime screening, first day ticket pre-sellers is what I'm not necessarily Amazon, but just pre-sellers, first day ticket pre-seller tickets. Superman outpaced all of them and outsold all of them. Now, it's exciting. I'm excited about it. You should be excited about it. This is a great sign. But this isn't the end of the story, okay? This is just the start of the story. When we talk about box office, when we talk about money. Look, we know that the early reports for this, for the opening weekend box office, the very early reports that are pretty much unverified, or they're saying like 150 to 175. That's great. That would be absolutely phenomenal. But again, those are unverified, very early predictions. This is a step in the right direction. My thing is this. Let's say when we get to the end of June, the last week of June,
If we get there.
have a real strong understanding of what the tracking is for that first weekend of Superman. I have to say, if that tracking comes out and says that first weekend is 140 to 150, I am more than happy with that. I think everybody should be very happy with that.
Yep.
That's going to be a huge weekend for him. But I do think that it has the potential to be higher. I do. I just want to see where we can go from here. I talked about this last week or earlier this week. Remember, Jurassic World comes out on the weekend. So that's going to take a bit of steam from the excitement from Superman that week. So, these next couple weeks, it's all Superman. We can all talk Superman. But you're going to hear a lot of Jurassic World from that first week of July.
Yeah.
But that next week, I think,
We're cooking.
big time, because you had the early screenings on the 8th. You have a lot of places then, excuse me, shown the movie on the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. Those days are going to be huge. Now, that doesn't fall into the opening weekend numbers, which is unfortunate. So be careful. People are going to freak out and say, well, their opening weekend was only 140 million. But they'll leave out the 15-20 million that it made the 3 days prior. Right. So that's what I fear is going to happen. But regardless, I think it's going to be really big. It's great to see that these pre-seller tickets were huge for Fandango. We're seeing, I already saw in the comments here that people's theaters are sold out. I know the theaters closest to me for the preset for the 8th are sold out.
Mine's not.
The theaters near me for opening day, they're filling up. So I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, we're gonna have big crowds. It's just how big are they gonna be? And I've already said this. Like my area where I go, like specifically the theater that I go to, it's in a college town. So a lot of those kids, they don't like they're going to want to see this movie. So I know that those theaters are going to fill up. Like they're the type of people that are going to go see this movie. They're going to go see Jurassic World. They're going to go see Fantastic Four. Like that's the demographic for these movies. So I know my theaters are going to sell out easily. But it's going to be interesting to see some of those other more rural areas that are more families than young kids. How are those going to do? It'll be interesting for sure to find out. But let me know your guys' thoughts on all this. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Movie Talk Now says, Slav and Derpy, please make a prediction on the record. Will Pattinson's Batman appear in this film, and will Batman appear at all? Silhouette or with an actor cast? Derpy, I'll let you take this one first.
I'm not even going to respond because I don't even want to even answer this question. That's Slav's answer too.
I'll make a prediction.
Okay, go ahead.
On the record. You want me to make on the record? So I have to make 2 comments here on the record for you, Movie Talk Now, okay? 2 comments for you because you requested 2 things. Number 1, Robert Pattinson will not be the Batman in the DCU, on the record.
Yes.
I've said this countless times. Robert Pattinson will not be the DCU Batman. Will not. So he will not be in Superman. Will we see any Batman silhouette or Batman in this movie?
No. It would be cool, but no.
I'm going with... what the hell? Yes. I want to say yes. I want to say yes. I want to say yes. I want to be surprised.
It would be cool, but I don't think it will happen because it's too early.
It's a prediction, man. It's just a prediction. This is having fun.
Fair enough.
This is just a prediction. I'm having fun. So yeah, I'm going to say yes. We will see a Batman of some sort, whether it's silhouetted, maybe in a newspaper, maybe in the post credit scenes, maybe something. We will see a Batman figure of some sort in this.
They said actor too.
He said with an actor cast, silhouette or with an actor cast. So I'm saying in some sort, in some way. It could be with an actor, maybe not with an actor, but I think we'll see it in some form or fashion. D-Man7 says Jurassic World now expected to make $115 million for the 5 days, which is not good. Is that for the 5 days? I thought that was just the opening weekend.
That's terrible.
That is not good for 5 days, if that's what they're talking about. Oof. Yeah, I was expecting for 5 days, I was expecting probably like 155 to 165. That is not good.
I was expecting it not to do good because of Dominion did terrible last time.
But the marketing hasn't even been there for it, so that probably hurt it too.
True.
Jonathan Noble says, I'm taking a 2-day vacation July 11th and 12th. I am taking a day off myself to go see it.
I'm taking a vacation from the 1st to the 5th.
Movie Talk Now goes, shock face. Trayvon says, for the love of God, people, shut up about Robert Pattinson joining the DCU. It's not happening, period. Cut and dry. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what I said. Critic Chris says, I doubt Batman will be mentioned by name nor seen. Hey, look, remember.
Oh, my.
Look, pay attention to how I said this. This is we're going to see a whole bunch of the Daily Planet. There's a lot of newspapers there. Could easily see a piece of newspaper with a silhouette of the Batman or something on a newspaper in there, or something about the Batman in Gotham or something like that. I'm telling you.
Or we could send randomly Clark Kent over to Gotham to visit Lex and Bruce Wayne randomly.
Maybe. I'm thinking it's going to be something like that. That's what I'm thinking we'll see.
We'll see, man.
We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, okay, moving on up. The final thing I want to talk about here, which is kind of cool, there was an interview with Fandango. The Superman cast talks.
I
with
did
Fandango.
see it briefly on this. I didn't see all.
They talked with Perry Nemiroff. You have no audio?
No audio.
Dang it. All right, let's try this again. Stop screen share. Screen share.
Oh yeah, update on the cup. Slav.
Yeah.
3-0 Panthers.
Oh, jeez.
It's not even the third yet.
Come on, Edmonton. What are you doing? What are you doing, Edmonton? All right. Let's see. Let's see if you have audio now. Audio
We're
now?
good now. Yeah, that's a little bit too loud, but we're good.
I'm turning it down. Now?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. All right. Yeah.
I got many, many questions. I'm
Let's
about
do
to
it.
interrogate you right now, beginning with you, James. Big two-parter to start here. Can you tell me a little bit about making sure that this movie feels like a full story all on its own, but also doesn't necessarily set up other films, but just tease up your growing DC film universe for success going forward?
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing is that this works as a movie by itself. It's a complete story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's an important part of the life of all three of the characters that these people play. That's by far the most important. At the same time, we're introducing a whole new world, which is a lot of fun. You know, we're in an alternate reality where superheroes have existed for 300 years, and now we're just picking up on the story of one particular superhero 3 years after he comes on the scene, who happens to be the most powerful metahuman of all time.
Powerful metahuman of all time, and one with a super cool suit, which is where I'm going to go next with you, David. I imagine you love the entire super.
So,
300 years.
yes.
Interesting.
So this is a really cool thing to understand here, and we've talked about this a little bit about understanding that these metahumans, these heroes, they've been around for a while. Like this isn't brand new. Like this world has been lived in, and I love that. I love that aspect about it, and I love it even more that he has a time in mind. It's 300 years. My guess is it probably could even be more. But what's going to be interesting to me is he going to utilize Vandal Savage in some way? We've talked about this on my show before. Vandal Savage.
Was sweet.
Are they going to utilize him as the first metahuman? Are they going to utilize him as being this, timeless being of sorts? That's what I'm hoping they go with. But I think this interview, I think he's kind of hinting at maybe some ideas that he's thinking about or sprinkling into the DCU for future content, which I think is really cool.
You know what I would love to see?
What? Mongol. Be interesting. Definitely would be interesting. Was he in Arrow? Did he pop up in Arrow in the Arrowverse? Vandal Savage did. I can't remember if Mongol did or not.
Superman suit, but I'm just a nerd for the details. So can you maybe pinpoint like a little detail, tiny aspect of it that you really appreciated and maybe informed how you played the character?
The cape really makes a big difference. It's the unsung hero of the suit. Most of the fittings don't include the cape, and it is literally the last thing to go on before you go on set. It just changes the silhouette and the way it flows behind you. It just adds gravitas to the thing, I think.
I have to imagine it's the coolest thing ever when you get to put on the suit and then show it not only to your co-stars but your friends and family. So that was making me wonder, is there any particular reaction to you in the suit that, I don't know, is the most memorable or is the most fun to think about?
I sort of forgot that I was wearing the suit. I would wear it a lot, and so
Around your house.
Yeah. But I do remember the first day we did camera tests before we started shooting, coming on and seeing Nick and Rachel for the first time, and them seeing me for the first time. I must admit, I felt a little self-conscious. Like I hadn't gotten used to the suit yet. I hadn't filled the boots yet with my own sense of confidence. So to have them see me and sort of go like, "Oh, that looks pretty cool." Like,
what's that?
He said, "My own sense of confidence." That's funny.
That works pretty well. That meant a lot.
I don't like to describe myself as giddy, but I was giddy when I saw it. I was like grinning from ear to ear. I was blown away. I was very excited. It took me back to being a big kid.
I think one of the fun things also is
Look at that. Go back to that photo of them. Them in costume. If you can find it.
I can't find it. Oh no.
No,
There it is.
right there. Look at that. Come on, folks. That is a beautiful rendition of what we're supposed to get for these characters. Look at that.
And in a way, I think it's even more powerful than seeing somebody like in a Spider-Man or Batman costume or something, because it's him. He's there, and they really would get so excited. It was so fun to watch.
My son was in complete awe.
Yeah.
It was magic to see his face, seeing you. That was beautiful.
Yeah, although I remember your son's favorite character was Mr. Handsome.
Me, then Mr. Handsome.
Yeah.
No, it was Mr. Handsome. He kept on talking about Mr. Handsome the whole time. He would be laying in bed and then he'd be like, Dad, Mr. Handsome.
So Mr. Handsome, little spoiler for you all here. Mr. Handsome, remember that character I said Lex created in a petri dish?
Yeah.
That's Mr. Handsome.
Oh.
Mr. Handsome is Lex's, creature he created in a petri dish that drives around on this, flying platform.
Strange
that's
alien
the
looking creature.
ugliest, grossest creature in the world. And for some reason, also, I remember one of our producers, Chantal, her son also was just obsessed with Mr. Handsome.
He sticks with you.
He's pretty cool.
As a kid who grew up and still loves everything genre, I have a feeling that would probably be a personal favorite as well. Yeah. David, I want to follow up briefly on something you had just said. When you first put the suit on, you didn't feel like you filled the boots. Do you remember the specific moment when you had confidence and thought you filled the boots and you were Superman?
When you put the lifts in.
No lifts and boots.
Just for the record.
Yeah, I think it was at the end of the first week of shooting. We shot part of the sequence that you see in the teaser trailer where the kaiju is blasting fire in Metropolis. And that was my first moment as Superman getting to check on people. There's a moment where I just check in with the bystanders and make sure that everybody's okay. And that felt like a very Superman moment where I sort of wasn't worried about myself or how I looked anymore or the fact that I was strung up by wires. I was just worried about, everybody else.
Definitely feels right in the finished product. I can't wait to see more, but in that trailer, just absolutely nailed it. James, we'll stick with the suit a little more with you now.
Again, just the way he explains being Superman, that to me is understanding the character. Because he says, the moment I felt like Superman is when I'm talking to the characters, the people that I just am rescuing, making sure are okay. Like that is what Superman would do. Like that is who Superman is. He does what he has to do to save the day, and then he goes and checks on people. He doesn't just fly away moping around. He checks on people, and that's what I love about what he said there. It's great. It's absolutely great.
Checks on people, smiles at the camera.
Yeah.
And then waves goodbye. Maybe me make out with Lois a little bit too.
Not in front of everybody.
About how these types of things evolve. So I am curious, what did you picture your Superman suit looking like day one, and how does it compare to the finished version everyone's going to see in the final film?
The only thing I...
What's that?
How is he supposed to answer that?
Well, he does it very well here, by the way.
Is that I didn't want it to look too much like a wet T-shirt. I didn't want to have... muscles that were, built into the suit. I wanted to create, a world where metahumans actually existed, but that also they wore these uniforms for various reasons, and that it was, in a way, a uniform. So
before he continues on, I would like to point something out to everybody. Back when the leaks were happening nearly a year ago, I said something very similar to this. That James Gunn was going to create a world where these suits made sense. When everybody was complaining about, oh, look at these suits are ridiculous, they're horrendous, blah, blah, blah. I said, you need to understand them in context to the world around them. You can't just sit there and say, well, these suits are terrible, they make no sense, it doesn't work. No, you don't understand the context around them. He just explained that. He just explained that the context around them is because of them living in this world, them needing to have these suits for various reasons. It's what makes sense. You can't just what Superman wears in Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman is it's just like an armor. Like that's all it is. It's like it's an armor. It's not and like he said, it's like a wetsuit. There's padded muscles and everything like that. I'm not saying that Henry Cavill wasn't built and couldn't fill the suit. He did, but it had those muscles built into it, and it just didn't look feasible. You know, he was made to look like a god, which is fine.
Right.
These suits here are very different and more practical for a living, breathing world, and that's a good thing, and that's okay. And that's one thing that I really like.
It just kind of went from there, working with Juliana, who did all my costumes for Guardians of the Galaxy, and just kind of taking it, you know, bit by bit by bit by bit until we ended up with the beautiful suit that we ended up with. And, you know, also getting David's input, frankly. I mean, was, you know, as we started to build it up around him, getting his ideas. One of the biggest questions was, were we going to have trunks, or we were going to, you know, not have trunks? I talked to Zack Snyder, who was like, you know, I tried a billion different versions with the trunks, and at the
he talked to Zack Snyder. Oh my goodness!
Our
end
glorious
of the day,
king,
just
Zack
I tried
Snyder.
it, but it just I couldn't get there. And I was feeling exactly the same way. And Juliana and I talked, and she said, all right, well, I'm going to try, you know, we'll do one version where we try both trunks and not trunks. I went in with David. He tried in not trunks, and he tried in trunks. And I still was going to go with not trunks. And then you said,
Well, you wanted trunks in theory. You liked the idea of trunks.
Theoretically, I liked the idea of trunks because it's, you know, Superman I grew up with.
But the problem is they look kind of silly. You were looking for a way to make them look cool, or you were looking for a function, an explanation for having them that would
reason why they
justify
would be
them.
there, yeah.
And my thing was just maybe they're supposed to look a little silly. Maybe the reason he wears them is to look a little silly, basically to undermine how powerful he really is.
In this version of the DCU, everyone knows he's an alien. He shoots beams out of his eyes. He can blow things down with his breath. He's sort of this terrifying creature. And David saying that was like, but he really likes kids and human beings and people, and he wants kids not to be afraid of him. And so that was the thing that made me decide to keep the trunks.
I love touches like that, thoughts like that. It really does contribute to filling out the world and making it feel as real as possible.
Again, the trunks, the reason why they put the trunks on him is a very wholesome and heart like warming kind of thing. It's kind of like, look, it's supposed to be silly in a way, like, and that's okay. Like, again, you're gonna have this super powerful being, and you want him, you want people to feel comfortable around him. So make the suit a little goofy. That's okay. And honestly, it isn't all that goofy. Like, the suit looks great. It's a great looking suit, and it's reminiscent of the old, but in the grand scheme of things, in the world that they're in, yeah, it may look a little goofy to the bystanders, the people that he saves and rescues, and just goofy enough to say, you know what, I feel comfortable around this guy because he wears trunks on the outside of his suit. That's kind of odd, but hey, he saved my life. I feel confident and comfortable with this guy. Again, wholesome things, just understanding how they come to the idea and the decision to do what they did. The thing that really made me angry, though, is people were taking this clip and throwing it on social media out of context. I know, shocking, where James Gunn is sitting here saying, oh, you know, David Cornsweat, you know, or David here was the one that, and then David's like, well, and, you know, in theory, you like the trunks too. And then they stopped it there. And they're like, yeah, see, James Gunn was trying to blame David for the trunks, and they just all think it's goofy. None of them like him. Why they even do it? It's like, no, you stopped the interview there. You didn't play it all out and listen to the whole thing. Or no, they probably did. They just stopped it there for a reason, trying to spread misinformation and lies to try and get people to say, oh, wow, they don't even like the movie. So obviously, why would I even care to go see it? It's bullshit like that that really angers me about a specific fandom, and they keep doing this stuff. But again, it's just good, wholesome fun and entertainment. That's what they're going for, and it's awesome that they collaborated on all this. That's what's great.
Rachel, I'm coming your way now. I'm curious about your portrayal of Lois as a journalist, because journalism is a field that is evolving constantly. So what is something about her as a modern day journalist in this movie that maybe sets her apart from iterations of the character we've seen in the past?
One of the things we talked about a lot is her wardrobe and how this character's evolved so much from era to era. She's probably one of the characters that's undergone the most transformation as far as all the different comics go. She's ambitious, she's hungry, she's courageous and determined, and she'll do just about anything to get a great story. But today, to be a print journalist and to be able to do all of those things, it looks a little bit different. I think we prioritize comfort you know, in order to be able to do the job to the best of our ability. And so we talked a lot about how we could pay homage to all of the previous iterations of Lois and find something that felt both true to the character, but in a world that obviously has some heightened elements, how can we make this feel distinctly human and also modern? And so she wears flat shoes. That was also important to you. I feel like, David, we tried on a couple boots that made me about this much taller. And David was like, she's too tall.
Well, there are no lifts in my boots. My boots are flat to the ground.
I know, but you're still
You've
5
got a
feet
foot
taller
on me
than
anyway.
her.
I mean, I'm already looking up David's nose 95% of the time, but David was like, no, flat shoes, flatter. Can they get any flatter? Can she get any lower to the ground?
There is nothing more relatable to me than an on-screen journalist wearing flat shoes.
What I was saying.
Always,
I think
always.
the other thing, I mean, I think also for Lois, like, and Clark and Jimmy too, the idea that, and Perry, and the idea that they're journalists is a real part of the story. It's a part of, you know, what they conflict over at the beginning of the film in terms of how they see the ethics of journalism. And it's part of what Lois does throughout the movie in trying to get to the truth. And so it isn't just a matter of like, oh, she's, you know, Lois Lane and her job as a journalist. It's actually a part of what we see her doing in the movie.
Ooh, I think I might build on that a little.
Again, just showing that they completely understood the assignment and understand the assignment when it comes to these characters. It's just awesome. It's beautiful. Now I want to jump over to the comments here because I see there's a lot of comments. It looks like D-Man asked, what if our bosses see you in the theater for Superman? My boss would not be caught dead in a theater themselves, so I'm not worried about that. But hey, I have time that I can take off, so they can't be mad at me for taking time off to go do that. Hunter, yes, if I saw their comment, I did not. Let's see. Trayvon says, I wonder if Superman will have Lex yelling, Miss Teschmacher. I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. D-Man7 says, isn't Vandal Savage a metahuman who's been around for thousands of years? That's my question. That's why I said I think metahumans might be around for a little longer. Will they utilize Vandal Savage? Will Vandal Savage have been the first metahuman? Will he have been around for thousands of years before the metahumans started popping up? Like there's a lot of questions there, but I think James Gunn maybe has an idea for it. So we'll see. Hope for Life says, could be the white aliens are either the big bads of the DCU or they're just working for someone worse like the Center or Black Hand. Could be. He means Necron. Yes, I know what you meant. Trayvon says, if I didn't have glasses, I'd watch this movie in 3D. Reach out to them on social media. What's the 3D company? What are they called? I reached out to them like 5 years ago, and they sent me clip-on glasses, 3D glasses to my glasses for free. I just reached out to them and said, hey, I wear glasses. And it's really hard for me to watch 3D movies. What are they called? Why can't I think of what they're called? Whatever. But you can reach out to them. It's pretty cool. Manos Time says, hey everyone, hope you're having a great you're great. Slav, I don't know if you're going to react to the TV spots. They're new TV spots too. I'm not going to react to the TV spots, not tonight at least. Let's see. Soul Survivor left. Good night. Have a good night. Movie Talk Now says, Nicholas shouldn't be allowed to have hair during promoting this film. This is evidence James Gunn doesn't know what he's doing. This marketing is terrible. Superman is going to fail. Trayvon says, Rachel Brosnan, me, you, dinner. Hope for Life. Oh, I believe you. Trayvon, I've seen. Okay, you're talking Trayvon. Let's see. Anything else? Nothing else there. Okay. Moving on. I'm going to skip up a little bit. Let's see if I can find it here. All right. I think it's here.
Hope. But secretly, what he loves about Lois Lane is that she is his match. And she
This-
isn't taken
this
by
here,
the symbolism
he talks
and
about
the visual and sort of the
basically their
ideal of
connection and their
Superman.
chemistry.
She asks the hard questions. So it's actually very frustrating for Superman because he wants to be this sort of pure symbol of good. And Lois keeps finding all these ways that he like screwed up a little bit, or he didn't quite, or was he really well intentioned there, or did he think through the consequences of things there? And so it's very frustrating, but that frustration is this amazing, she's the only place he really gets that and actually is a little convinced by it and maybe, you know, wonders a little bit, questions himself a little bit. So that definitely draws him to her.
Yeah, I think she's somebody who sees around every corner. She's 10 steps ahead of everybody else. And it's what makes her brilliant, but I think can also make her have trust issues with the people in her real life. And I think one of the things that she loves so much about Superman is that he is so radically present. He's able to look at just what's in front of him. And I think she finds it both an incredibly frustrating and also really endearing quality. You know, there's definitely times where she's like, that's awesome that you saved that cat out of the tree, but over here, a building burned down and there were like 100 people inside of it. So can we just like have a little bit of perspective here? But yeah, they bring out the humanity in each other.
Each of them frustrates the other in that way that leads to sparks and romance and
passion, that chemistry. Yeah.
Sounds like an ideal combo. I like it. I can't wait to see more. Nick, with Lex, first I kind of want to lay the foundation a little bit. Can you tell me something about past iterations of the character that you wanted to hold tight to and honor in your portrayal, but then also something about the Lex we'll see in this movie that is uniquely your own?
There's so many great actors played Lex that I've adored their performances of, but we're all kind of using the same basis in the history of the comics to formulate the character. I think what's lucky for me is James's writing is so dynamic and fun, and the dialogue is so smart that you get this really rich world and characters to jump into. So I'm coming from a great place already with what's in the script and also the whole world that James has built up around that for this universe. I wasn't going in trying to do something particularly different or similar to what people had done before. I was just trying to be truthful to what I felt connected from the comics and those source materials to this script and this story, I think. Yeah, it wasn't a conscious decision to try and do something different. But I was also, the brilliant thing about working with James is he's very collaborative on ideas and trying things, but he's also very clear in what he wants. And he's also honest in like his opinion on things, where like he'll say like, this is working, this isn't, no, I need this, that doesn't work. So then you feel like you're in a great place as an actor with confidence to like try things and be guided by someone who really knows what they want and what they're doing.
All right. There's so much to unpack there with what Nicholas Hoult says, because first off, he praises Gunn on his writing. He discusses how he praises previous iterations of Lex, which he should, which is great, but he didn't want to be led by how they were portrayed in the past. He was led by what James Gunn created, and he wanted to be true to what James was trying to create for this DC universe, this new world that he's building. And I love that. And he did that because James Gunn is somebody that can be trusted as a filmmaker. He's collaborative, he's able to be trusted, and that is something that I think is important to hear. For those that are out there that question and think that James Gunn is a hack or isn't a good filmmaker in any way, shape, or form, when you see the actors talk like this, when they're willing to be upfront and say, look, working with James Gunn is a treat. He's a great writer. He's collaborative. He's upfront and he's willing to tell you what is working, what isn't working. This is why it's fun and great to work with him. That is a great sign. That is a sign of a really good filmmaker. This isn't going to sit here. I'm not sitting here saying that this isn't how other filmmakers work, because it is. Other filmmakers do this same thing. I'm specifically sitting here talking about James Gunn, though, because people sit here all the time and say, well, James Gunn is a hacker. He isn't a good filmmaker. Well, no, we're hearing from these actors and everything they keep saying that the story is great. The way that we've done this was great. They have great chemistry. Obviously, so much of this is because of the directing, because of the filmmaker behind the camera, because of what he was able to bring together. That is what I really like about Nicholas's answer here, what I like about what everybody's been saying here. That's a great thing to hear.
Another burning question I have about your Lex is, so obviously super smart. I think I read somewhere else that in this movie...
not smart, really dumb.
That's our
twist. I couldn't play smart, so we had to.
Super smart. And also I read in another interview that he's very imposing. So I have to imagine he goes into this movie with a lot of confidence. But I am curious, when he goes up against Superman, what do you think he fears is his greatest weakness in that fight?
Well, that's something that we did discuss, and you said earlier on, because you're going up against someone who's all powerful, it's like you need someone who does feel like they could potentially be a credible threat towards them. And I think that's, again, very smart in the writing, in the way that Lex is maneuvering in the chess pieces he has in play. We are weak, and that's what Superman shows us, is that we are. And I think that since he's shown up, Lex has tried to be, all these things to humanity in this godlike savior character, and suddenly this person's taken all that adoration that he feels he deserved, and also taken away, their fate in some ways, and he thinks they deserve to control that.
I think Lex looks at Superman like a lot of, artists, print artists especially, look at AI. I think he sees him as a threat to his livelihood and his legacy. He's a guy who's just built his whole life around the idea of legacy and ego. This guy comes in and he thinks he's a jerk. He's just a simple guy wearing a stupid costume that all of a sudden everybody loves and every woman loves, and all of the things that he cares about now are all going to him.
I wanted to end on this particular question because
That's very, very simplistic. And Lex Luthor hating him for that is crazy. But I mean, it's based off a comic book, so we'll see in the movie how it works.
a little obsessed with the idea because making movies is hard, but I love highlighting the pride, the passion, and the joy that artists have on set when it comes to bringing these movies to screen for fans. So big question, but for each of you, can you isolate the single moment of making Superman that brought you the most joy as an artist?
You're probably the most fun to work with on a day-to-day basis, but my favorite stuff was the interview scene in the first 2 days, because it was simply a scene of these two actors just having a conversation, shot for 2 days. It's a very long scene in the movie, but it is just about the way they see each other. It's the way they see the world. It's the way they see their relationship. It's the way they see journalism, and the way they see ethics at the very core. And it brings in a lot of the things that make a relationship fiery and passionate because you're opposites. And it also brings in a lot of things that are going to push them apart. And seeing the movie and these actors and the characters work in such a human, real level that deconstructs superheroes, not in the way of like making, oh, these superheroes that are powerful are now bad guys. It's more like really not deconstructing them. It's going deep with these superheroes in a way that Alan Moore did, and to see their portrayal in those first 2 days of shooting and know that in 2 days we shot 10% of the movie was really, truly
10% of the
joy,
movie was shot in the first 2 days.
And
That's
then I had
ridiculous.
to spend another 5 months hanging from wires. And
That's
trying
crazy.
to get shots.
Yeah, that
just
must have been
right.
so hard for you.
You stole my answer, though. I think it was the same. Those were my first 2 days on set, and it was such a blast. I didn't think that a superhero movie, in theory, could feel like that, could feel so human and grounded, and we had so much space under James's watchful eye to play and try things and really discover the core of these characters. It was the perfect scene to start with because we really got to figure out who they are in these 2 days, and then just built on that foundation for the rest of the movie. Yeah. And it was just, it was early in the process, but it was really different, I think, from everything else you guys had been shooting at that point. And there was just this energy from the crew. And it was so much fun. It was one of the most fun days I've ever had on set.
It was a great way to start a big action-packed movie, is just 2 days in a room, almost like doing a play. For me, it was definitely Nick.
Thank you.
I
was going to say me.
Two moments that come to mind. Well, the nice thing is we had read that scene before, and then we had worked on the scene quite a bit before we shot it, and then we spent 2 days shooting it. That was sort of my comfort blanket of like, okay, I know what I'm doing here, like, this is going to work. When Nick was cast, I thought this is one of the best things that will happen to this movie, is getting Nick Holt as Lex Luthor. The first time I saw him at his camera test walk out of the shadows in costume, it was like something ripped out of the page of the comics. The way he held his hand, it was so immediate. I'm sure he was still figuring stuff out, but he didn't show any of that. And it was quite intimidating. I didn't feel like I had figured stuff out at that point. So it was this amazing challenge in character of, I'm gonna have to go up against this guy and match him. At the same time, I already knew at that point that he was a very lovely man and was very supportive and wanted me to do well. And so there was.
I love how David Cornsweet talks about how uncomfortable he was being Superman, being in the suit. He talks about it constantly. But when you watch these trailers and the teasers and everything like that, he just exudes his confidence when he's in the suit, when he's on screen as Superman. I love that.
There's no rivalry off
I don't know. I
screen,
just had to bring
but
that
then
up.
the first time we did go up against each other, nose to nose in a scene, I tried so hard to match you or to best you in some way, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, you could.
It was just, I felt like I couldn't, and it was amazing because in that scene, I don't quite win. I don't come out the winner of that scene. It's just great to be across from a scene partner who you can feel such affection for and so supported by off camera, and so completely cut down at the knees on camera.
Beautiful
Wow.
description.
Phew, a little warm and fuzzy himself. That scene was really fun. That scene in the office. You guys, wow. You know, one of the moments, it was, I mean, all of those things were mutual and what I felt as well. But there's one moment, again, just going back to, there's a scene where David flies into this set that we had built. I remembered, like, obviously there's loads of things going through your head and you're doing the scene and you're getting ready for that. And there was a moment where I just looked up and it was you in the suit flying into this set. And I was like, that was just me that was like, this is like the magic of movies. This is the magic of my childhood. This is all the things I would hope it would feel like. The person I would hope playing Superman, he like embodies the character perfectly. So there was all this encapsulated and I was just kind of standing there dumbly, like grinning, being like, oh, this is magic to be here. And then I turned around and everyone else in the room was kind of lit by the sunlight behind you or whatever. And they were all had kind of that expression on their faces as well of just this like, this movie magic and like real life magic of what it was. And that was really special to be there for that.
One of the greatest joys of being someone who sits in a movie theater and like feels that magic at that stage of the process is hearing that the people who make the movies have those same kind of experiences.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. That's that interview. Like I wanted to show it to you guys. If you didn't watch it, there it is. It's on the Fandango website. You can go find it there if you want to watch it again. It's an excellent interview with those guys. Real Anarchy says his persona, I believe you're talking about David Cornsweet, fits the role so perfectly, and you are not wrong. He really does. Like everything about him fits the role perfectly. I can't say like this interview. I think is probably the best interview we've seen with all of them on screen because it really highlights each one of these characters. That they are all perfectly cast in those roles, that James Gunn is the right man for making this movie. You know, even Nicholas Hoult, who we just watched his trailer and we see how sadistic and manipulative and crazed Lex Luthor is. And you see Nicholas Hoult is like this kind, very kind soul man. But because of his ability as an actor, you just know he's the perfect man to be in that role. But yeah, I cannot wait for this. Trevon says July 11th can't come any faster. You are not wrong. Real Anarchy says she did a good job. I believe you're talking to Perry Nemiroff about Perry Nemiroff there. Yeah, Perry, if you don't know who Perry Nemiroff is, I've been following her for quite some time. When she was, I think she's still with Collider. I don't know. Back in the day when she was part of Collider with John Campea and Christian Harloff years ago, she is a good interviewer. She is a good interviewer. But yeah, check this interview out if you want to watch it again. But guys, I think that's it. Derpy, you still there? Did you leave me? You still there, buddy?
No, I'm still here.
All right.
I was letting you do your thing. No, I was letting you do your thing, but no, I don't got nothing else.
All right. Well, guys, thank you all so much for watching. This was a little longer of an episode, but that's okay. Let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments below. Make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, support us, this channel, support me, Slavs Free Talk, the Watchtower, all that jazz. Excuse me. The affiliate links are in the description. All that jazz, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I will be back Monday, 8:30 p.m. Slavs Free Talk podcast. So catch us then. With all that said, I'll catch you all later.